Well, praise the sun! There's a new Dark Souls game out, which means it's time for me to forgo all social responsibilities until I emerge battered and victorious, or more likely, until I get distracted by something important about halfway through and then never find the time to return to it and feel bad about it for the rest of my life. Anyway, the Souls series occupies a special place in my heart and a strange one in contemporary gaming culture. An incredibly niche title that's massively popular, and a series with a reputation for being willfully inscrutable and punishingly difficult, and yet right now it's also one of the biggest influences in both mainstream and independent game design. And despite the fact that people like me have been banging on about the incredible work developers from Software do, there's still plenty of people who find the games to be too intimidating to penetrate. But I'm here for you now, and we're going to sort this whole thing out. I'm Lee, this is Button Bash, and here's why you should play Dark Souls 3. Maybe the problem has to do with the series' marketing campaign, which hinged on the phrase, "You will die." Most people interpret this as a threat or a challenge rather than the truism that it's intended as. Accept that you will die, and put that fear behind you. Not only will you die, and probably a lot, but you already have died, since the games always cast you as some kind of endlessly resurrecting undead revenant. Every time you die, you're restored to life at the start of the area, and while the enemy also returns to full strength, any secrets you've gleaned and trinkets you've stolen remain yours. Core to the experience of Dark Souls is that failure isn't a finishing point, as much as it is an opportunity for reflection and self-improvement. Foes you encounter are massive and overpowering, the environment's hostile, but their tricks can be countered, their flaws learnt, and the land can be mastered. Repeated failure can be frustrating, but tends to indicate that a new approach is required. If a dragon keeps incinerating you on a bridge, you need to time your run between breaths, and if a giant keeps hitting you with a saw, maybe just avoid him. He looks pretty slow. The game expects you to play through areas over and over again, learning when to be cautious and when to be aggressive, until what was once a creepy murder shack full of hell goblins is now a brief diversion on your way to somewhere even worse. It would be easy to walk away after a series of frustrating deaths if the game didn't provide such wonderful spaces to explore. The world you inhabit is a bleak and crumbling one, a medieval fantasy realm experiencing an age of decay and decline, beautifully well realized. Despite the hostility of the world, I often feel like a fantasy tourist, mixed with an anthropologist and archaeologist. The level design and creature placement does a lot of the narrative heavy lifting, implying much about the world without ever having to spell it out, and motivating the player to press on further in the hopes of uncovering even more. Why are the denizens of the undead settlement worshipping at that gnarled old tree in the middle of their village? Keep going. Dig a little deeper, maybe you'll find out the answer, and maybe you'll survive the experience. I mean, I didn't the first time, but I got close. A land full of secrets would be no good if there wasn't a way to share them, and this brings me to one of my favorite aspects of the game. Despite being predominantly a solo experience, players are reminded that no matter how dark things get, they are never truly alone. The ghostly form of other players flicker past as they go on their own adventures, while the pools of blood marking player deaths are macabre reassurances that everyone makes mistakes. Better yet, players are given the tools to leave short messages for others, warning of ambushes, suggesting tactics, or simply offering a few words of encouragement. Praise the sun. Keep going. The world is harsh, but we're all here, and we're mostly not terrible. At heart, Dark Souls is the most video-gamey video game of them all. It's a game of navigating labyrinths, looking for secrets, and chopping monsters, but its labyrinths are fiendishly designed, its secrets captivating, and its monster chopping is vivid and engaging. If you've never been able to get into the series before, there's no better place to start than with the latest entry, which is probably about as accessible as they're going to get. I wish I were playing it right now. In fact, why am I not playing it right now? I'm out of here. Roll my end titles.